Hi, do you have a favorite 48 Hours episode?
We do.
We all have those cases that we just can't forget.
48 Hours is the original true crime docuseries.
After 35 seasons, we've seen it all.
The confessions, the lies, the
Alibis. Think it's easy picking the best 48 Hours episodes of all time?
That's why we've come up with this binge package.
Of our most memorable 48 Hours episodes,
Just for you. Available on YouTube.
The mystery of what happened to these two beautiful young women would haunt their families and investigators for years.
Well, this is probably my favorite 48 Hours, last seen in Breckenridge.
What no one else knew at the time was that the killer's truck got stuck on a snowy mountain pass right after the murders.
It's also a story that gives hope to victims' families. Justice will be served.
Up ahead is the island of Caranero, where Yvonne and Brian came to live and chase their dream.
Yvonne Baldelli disappeared from a tropical Panamanian island back in 2011. The last person to see her alive was ex-Marine boyfriend Brian Breminger.
Brian's coming out with his golf clubs. Let's go, guys. Okay, you rolling? Brian, Peter Van Sant with CBS News. We'd like to ask a couple questions. Did you murder Yvonne Baldelli?
He opened the door, and he just had like a weird look on his face.
Let me tell you about the 48 Hours episode that meant the most to me. It's the story of Katrina Brownlee. You thought you'd escaped.
Like, that's what I'm thinking, like I'm winning, when actually I was losing.
This is a woman and a story that in 48 Hours has everything. Survival, intrigue, emotion, sacrifice, danger.
I don't think she could have foreseen what was going to happen to her.
Ultimately, justice. Everyone should be inspired by her story.
God had a whole different plan for me.
Shonda Hanley is at her home with her daughter, Isabella.
Hey, Paddington, you want to watch 48 Hours? This story of Shonda Hanley, this is my favorite because this was a story that happened in my hometown. It has an ending unlike any other.
You've got your gun drawn?
Yes, sir. I opened the rear door of the van, and in the van, what I thought was a mannequin moved.
He had the gun to my head. I was like, oh no, my heart sunk. And I started praying.
Don't touch nothing. No, leave that right there. Don't touch nothing.
A guy who has a history with drugs, who is claiming, I blacked out. Convenient, it sounds like.
The devil was at work.
Think it's easy picking the best 48 Hours episodes of all time?
Were you at all surprised when Crosley Green was charged with Chip Flynn's murder?
It was a total shock.
Hi, Crosley. I'm Erin Moriarty with CBS. I can't sleep at night because of this case.
There was no case. It was a one-witness ID case.
It's clear that Crosley Green did not get a fair trial.
The evidence that Crosley Green is innocent is literally overwhelming.
He was convicted of shooting a man in a citrus grove, but the case against him is wildly flawed. You're that sure that Crosley Green is innocent?
I would bet my life on it, yes.
This is the gas station where Chadwick called 911?
Yeah, this is where he chose to kick off our investigation.
Peter Chadwick, who murdered his wife at their home in Newport Beach, California, was on the run when we first told the story of the manhunt. But he knew authorities were closing in on him because he watched our 48 Hours from his hiding place.
48 Hours had the only news crew on the scene when Peter Chadwick landed in Los Angeles yesterday.
Think it's easy
Picking the best
48 Hours episode
of all time, well, it's murder.
murder.